The Bigfooty Port Adelaide podcast is proudly sponsored by New Vision.
My team, Conda, power. I love the power. I love the power. I love the power.
I would love us to have a rookie ruckman on our list next year.
I agree with that.
Because we haven't had one for a while, and I think it's absolutely ridiculous that we don't. So we've got 3 players left, all ruckman. Peter Ladhams is the first one from Norwood, who's 202 centimetres, 95 kilos. Player comparison would be someone like Jarrod Redden, I think. He's a ruck with a really good frame, I think. Good strength, some really neat tap work. I think he's a hard runner as well. He's averaged a goal a game across the whole season at all levels, which I think is fantastic. So he's been successful playing as a forward. His foot skills are okay. They're not great, just okay. He's busy, he's mobile. I think he's got really good endurance. There's a lot to like about Peter Ladhams, in my opinion.
Yeah, look, I don't mind him. He rucks in front, so it makes him better than Matthew Loppy on day one.
Yep.
I think his kick, you say, is a bit ordinary, but I think by 17-year-old ruckman standards, it's actually really good. Yeah. He hits targets a lot, I thought. And, he's not going to hit targets as often as a Benjamin is, but Benjamin's not going to be taking a whole lot of hit outs, so that's how it goes. And I think I like the fact that he follows the ball after the tap. Like, he doesn't just go, oh, okay, well, I'm done. That's nice. It's nice to see. You want to encourage that.
Yeah.
I didn't see a lot of deficiencies, honestly, Macca. So I'm sort of reckon he might, I think he might be a third rounder kind of guy, maybe earlier. I don't know.
Yep. I guess the one thing that disappointed was that he wasn't invited to the draft combine. Like, he only got an invite to the state combine, which means not many clubs were all that interested in him.
But that's okay.
Which was a bit of a surprise. I thought he'd been an absolute Monty for that. I thought he was close to the best performing ruckman at the championships, to be honest.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, he's certainly better than the bloke you were on about last week. What was his name? Max something or
Max
Harry
Lynch.
or Max Lynch? That's the one. Max Lynch.
Gun.
He's certainly better option than Max Lynch for sure. Look, I'd be okay with Ladhams on our list.
Yeah, me too. I think he's someone that could really develop pretty well in an AFL system. May be ready from as early as year 2 as well. I think he's got the body to sort of play senior SANFL footy straight away and go from there.
Yeah, and this is when I said earlier in this podcast, there's other players I'd rather take in the third round than Jonty Scharenberg. I mean, this is one for sure.
Yeah.
Yep.
No, it's good that we're in agreement with this one. I do like Peter, and look, if he's there with our third round pick, I would absolutely look at picking him up. Last 2 players that I've got are 2 ruckmen for South Australia, and that's Peter Ladhams and Jordan Sweet, who might well be there in the rookie draft as well. Ladhams was probably more consistent throughout the year, was getting really good numbers, also made an impact up forward as well. Jordan Sweet played the one big game up forward at Colts level for North Adelaide, kicked 6 goals, took 12 marks. Where do you think they both sit, and would Port be interested late in the draft?
I think Ladhams will go around pick 50.
Yep.
Sweet, I reckon will be a rookie draft, and I would hope we'd be interested at rookie level.
I agree at rookie level.
Subject to what's around, who slips through and all that. But yeah, I think we should be looking very close at him.
Yes, well, when I was chatting with the KUT a few weeks ago, one of the things he mentioned, one of the things that was brought up was the fact that we are probably moving away from having pure ruckman-y types. Sweet isn't that, and I agree rookie list is right for him, but I think Ladhams probably is that, and I think that drafting him in the national draft would go against Port policy on ruckman. So
yeah. It's interesting because you watch them play, and I would agree that it looks like Jordan Sweet is someone that should have more impact up forward, but he didn't. And Peter Ladhams probably shouldn't have an impact up forward, but he kicked 14 goals in 14 games at state level this year.
and had a bag of 5, kicked a bag of 3 as well. So he's someone that can actually impact the scoreboard.
Yeah.
Yes.
As a
Yep.
as a ruckman playing forward, yes.
Yep.
Like as a Brendan Lade,
Again, you sit there and go, Ladhams, get you fit enough, and you've rucked the whole championship games yourself rather than only rucking half of them. He would have averaged 20 possessions a game, and then all of a sudden everybody would be going, wow, how good's this guy? The fact that they pretty much rotated him and Sweet off the ground for the championships, didn't help their numbers to actually become appealing. But I think they both had times in games where you sat there and went, oh, yep. But I think Ladhams is better suited to the modern game.
Yeah.
I think
I would really like if Port picked Ladhams.
Yeah, Ladhams, like they talk about English having midfield traits. So's Ladhams. Ladhams does a bit of link work that's actually quite good in the open play. Yep. And so I sit there and go, I really like him. And again, if he's there at 79, I'm quite happy for us to take our ruckman there instead of waiting for the rookie draft. But
yeah, totally. I agree on that. Look, I mean, I think he's probably he's arguably the best, the most. He's got the highest base performance level of the ruckman in this draft, I guess is what I'm going to say. Like, the worst case scenario, I think, is better for Ladhams than is for probably any other ruck in this draft. Because English, I could see bottoming out and not really doing anything. But I think Ladhams, at the very least, he will be at least a marriage. Yeah.
Yep.
For me, that's that, and so that makes him more draftable than some of the other rucks, certainly in the senior draft, in the national draft, in my view. Yes. Yep.
Right. Well, let's talk about the rookie draft. Pick 9. We led with the ruckman, Peter Ladhams, 202 centimetres.
The next Brendan Lade.
The next Brendan Lade, that's it. From Norwood. He can play up forward, can play in the ruck. Averaged 15 touches, over a goal a game, 3.5 marks and 27 hit-outs a game at under 18s level this year for Norwood. I think I had him the second highest rated ruckman in the draft. Mish, I think you were similar. Portia, you were very high on Ladhams as well. I think it's pretty clear to say that we should all be pretty stoked with this pick to get him where we got him.
Look, I'm pretty excited because he doesn't seem to have any glaring deficiencies. Like, that's, for a junior ruckman, that's unusual. Yeah. Because, like, all the ruckmen that got drafted before him, they've got clear deficiencies, yeah? Whereas he just seems to be pretty good at all the things. It might be that maybe he'll just get a bit better at all the things, but that could still be a good lobby replacement, certainly. And who knows? I mean, there's the potential there that maybe Brendan Lade will be able to teach him cunning, and if he learns cunning, then he becomes a very deadly ruck indeed. So that's what I want to see. That's what I want to know, if he can gain that ruck intelligence, because he's all right, he's pretty good, but if he could gain that Lade-esque damaging ruck work, I mean, that's the best value you could find in this draft. So that's my view.
He's a good size. I think he's got good tap work. I reckon he's not a big jumper, so he's never going to be that sort of player. But I like his hands. He looks surprisingly quick across the ground for a big man. And I think he's got a really nice kick for a big man as well. So, I think he's definitely got AFL potential. It's just a matter of how someone like Lade can sort of teach him and help him develop.
What are your thoughts, Mish?
I love him. My fear going into draft camp or state combine was his endurance was actually shit. His result actually showed me that it's not good, but it's not at that level where you don't think you can improve it.
Well, that's all right then.
So I would think over a couple, 3 years, you'll be able to improve that to an acceptable level.
Yeah.
And he needs that long there's a ruckman, he needs that long for his bulk and all that sort of stuff. So as long as he doesn't lose his speed as he bulks up and he gains endurance, he could be special. because, as you said, there's nothing there which I sit there and go, oh, that so puts me off you as a player.
Yeah.
I would like him to be a bit better mark. I would like him to have a little bit mongrel, but I haven't watched him and gone, well, you got no mongrel. Yeah, because he does get in and compete. So that's the first thing I want to see from Ruckman, is you get in and compete, because you've got that big body. You can't rely on speed and endurance to bloody get your possessions. You need to compete where the ball's being competed. So I sit there and go, it's all there to be improved.
Yeah. He's not as exciting as I suppose as a couple of the other options, but he could just be I don't know, like he could follow a Mark Jamar type progression, hopefully a bit faster, but, just gradually getting a bit more like, oh yeah, I know what I'm doing, and then having a good year where he goes, oh yeah, he's all right. But you'd hope a bit better. But rookie, let's see, can't say too much. We'll see.
Yeah, we should see. But as he'll be given time to develop, so I think he's the perfect rookie list ruckman, and we'll wait and see. I reckon, he could be the real sort of joker in the pack.
Yep.
Yeah. I wouldn't go that far. I don't know that he'll ever. I don't feel like he's a player that's going to become an exciting ruckman to watch. But he could be a good contributor, like a Brogan maybe.
But dare I say, Dean Cox, his Cox level,
the next Dean Cox.
You were not thinking he was going to become a brilliant ruckman.
Fair enough. The next Dean Cox. We're doing well. What a midfield we're building.
Shit. This draft is incredible, I have to say. Right, next player is Brett Eddy from South Adelaide, who's 193 centimetres, 93 kilos. He's 26 years old. He's a key forward. If I was to relate him to a player, probably someone like Jay Schultz, to be honest. I think he's a pretty hard-leading sort of footballer. Can play sort of deep, can play more across the 50. I think he's got great goal sense. Really consistent footballer as well. He's someone that's been around the mark for a very long time now. He led Collingwood's VFL goal kicking in 2011, did his knee, moved to South Adelaide, had a terrible first year, but hasn't looked back since then, kicked 67, 42 and 74 goals this year. Strong on the lead, really good mark, kicked 6 or more goals on 5 occasions this year. Do you see him finally getting a shot this year, Portia?
He might do with someone. I'm not. I mean, because when I'm looking at a mature player, I'm not really concerned about whether he's going to get a shot somewhere else. It's just about whether he'd be a fit for Port, and I'm not sure that he is.
Yeah.
Because I'm not sure where he fits in. Like, is he going to play on the same side as Charlie Dixon? Because I don't think that'll work. And if Charlie Dixon gets injured, I mean, I don't want Brett Eddy being the centre point of that forward line. I'd rather we just go to an all small forward line, quite frankly. Yeah. I don't know. You look at his highlights for this year, and like even the contested marks, they look like they're about an equal standard to like a Josh Jenks and Joe the Goose thing. He just happens to be near a player, and that's why it's called contested. It's not really any struggles or wrestling for the mark or anything like that. It was just all kind of pretty easy.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just think he looks good at that standard of competition, but I don't see anything there that makes me think it's going to translate. Yeah.
Yeah, look, I think he's a good lead. I think he's relatively one-dimensional in that he's sort of like a lead mark kick sort of player. Gets a lot of his goals from that. As I said, he's kicked a lot of goals this year. His accuracy is something that I like as well. Johns has asked the question, would there be any point in delisting Butcher just a rookie Eddy? Look, I'm not sure. Maybe, do we need a stopgap for 1 year until next year's Super Tolls draft? I don't know.
Well, you see, this is the thing about it. Like, if there's a stopgap, he's going to be a stopgap for 2 or 3 years if we're going to draft in the solution. So is he the guy you do for that? I mean, if we need a stopgap, we need to get someone that is AFL conditioned, realistically. We need to trade them in. And I don't know that we really want to do that because the guys that we could trade in that won't cost too much aren't very good and will probably be off the list fairly soon.
The thing that concerns me is at the moment we've got Dixon, Westhoff, Howard who's done a knee, and that's it. That's our position forward options. And I think someone in that sort of age bracket who can come in and hopefully do an okay job. Like, I don't think anyone would expect him to come in and kick 50 goals, but if he can sort of kick a goal a game as a bit of a stopgap whilst Howard gets over his injuries, whilst if we draft someone this year and that they sort of develop, I mean, that's probably as good as you could hope for, really.
Look, for me, it's a matter of if Charlie Dixon's fit, we're playing with a one key forward, and I think we look better with one key forward surrounded by pacey forwards than with one key forward in Charlie Dixon and then Eddy. I don't think that looks as good for us as a side. Yeah. I think that, particularly given this press that we're still trying to execute and that we'll no doubt try and do again next year, I think the idea of having flexible, fast, accountable forwards, which I don't know how that's going to happen, but it might happen. I think that's a much more enticing prospect than the idea of putting another short special full forward, basically an old-fashioned full forward in the side that will need the ball fed to them pretty much. Yeah. I think I think he might be a bit like Portia and Missionpossible in that I think if you put him in a side that already has a very solid midfield that kicks it forward a lot, he could look okay. We're not that side. Yeah. We don't have system. We don't have the really strong midfield that's going to clear and get it forward in a similar way most of the time. So he's going to look like a goose in our side. So yeah. I think he might get a shot. He probably, but I don't think it'll be Port. And if it is, I don't think it'll be a good move.
No, that's a fair call. I think given the lack of sort of quality tolls in this draft, it sort of opens the spot up a little bit for a mature age player like him or someone like Mason Shaw to come in and do a job for someone for a short amount of time. But yeah, look, if he's going to go, it's going to be as a late rookie pick. Yeah, it's going to be 50-50, I think.
Yeah, I agree.
Yep. And on to the next player, Eddy. Who's probably the next Jay Schultz. He's 193 centimetre, 93 kilo from South Adelaide. Key forward, mature age. He's 27 years old. Kicked 67 goals in 2014, 42 goals last year in 2015, and a big 74 goals this year. Kicked 5 bags of 6 or more goals throughout the year. I guess this one was sort of earmarked a few months ago. There was always rumours that we were going to go down this path, and we did. Are we happy with this pick?
I know not a great deal about Eddy, but strategically making sure that we have a mature key position forward, even if he might be shit. At least having someone around that on the list, like that's something we need to do, because like if Dixon goes down, we can't expect a guy like Marshall to shoulder the burden, or Ryder for that matter. Yep. So it's just responsible to draft a guy. Maybe he's got a huge amount of upside that I don't know about, but even if he doesn't, like it was just a sensible pick for us. So maybe Mish has more to say.
Yeah. Other than watching him play football, I think he's the shortest 193 centimetres I've ever seen. He looks like a 6'1" to me when he's out there playing.
Okay.
However, I've always thought he's got AFL qualities. Just whether you put them together.
How would you compare
this year at 27 years of age? Gibbs, you've done everything you can because nobody kicks goals in Sandford anymore. All right. If he'd come out and kicked 100, he'd be going in the bloody top 40.
How do you compare him to like a James Passadley, Podsiadley, or however you say it?
I think he's got more tricks to his bow than Pods. I think Pods was very one-dimensional, very present. Probably Pods is probably the stronger contested mark.
Right. Think. Okay.
I think Eddy's got more scope to play modern footy.
He's a hard runner.
To get up the ground and back and that sort of stuff, where Pods, I don't think, would have had that scope to play footy the way it is now.
Yeah.
That's fair.
I think he's the type of player that I think could complement Dixon and also the running power of Westhoff in the same forward line. I think he adds something a little bit different to those. He's more of a lead mark player. And look, if he does fit in, look, I think he'll probably get a couple of games. If he stays fit, I think he'll certainly play AFL footy, especially if we're struggling. And yeah, hopefully he does pretty well.
Well, you cannot write Dixon in for 22 games, so that
No,
pretty
you
much
never
gives him
can.
Dixon doesn't play. As you said, he'll get a chance in the pre-season of work alongside Dixon, and if he can make it work, well, then that probably kicks Montfrey's out the team.
Yeah.
And he'll play his position in the forward line, even though it's completely different, but that's really the only space you take because he's not going to kick Westhoff out the team.
Well, that was my next question. Who's going to kick more goals in 2017, Eddy or Westhoff?
I'll go Westhoff.
Okay.
You'd have to say Westy just because he'll probably play 22 games. And Eddy might only play 3 or 4.
Yep. And since we're going to be a top 4 team, Westhoff's going to spend a lot more time. Forward line is going to kick a lot more goals. Simple.
I hope you're right.
Yeah. And that leads us to the last pick 44, Jarrod Lienert, 195 centimetre, 98 kilo wing, or I guess sort of quasi-tall. Played 16 games for Sturt this year for 7 goals and an average of 17 touches and 3.5 inside 50s a game. He's the one that could really add something a little bit different. Because he's kind of like a poor man's Westhoff in his ability to get across the ground. He's a lovely kick, massive kick, can kick goals from 55, 60 metres out, runs pretty hard, good pace. How much development does he have left in him?
Well, yeah, go.
He's got a lot, I think. Whether he can tap it is going to be the interesting thing because he probably walks into our team and now becomes the best long kick in our team.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know who you would call a better long kick. And he hits targets with them. It's not as though he just kicks it 55 metres to wherever. He'll hit somebody on the chest consistently from 55, 60 metres away. And it's just like, mate, you're supposed to only be able to do that over 30 metres. So,
Is he the next Chris Tarrant?
Chris Tarrant? Okay.
No.
Okay.
No, trying. Good
That's
try.
a bit of a reach there, Portia.
All right.
Yeah,
I
Much
know.
like
It's
Brad
tough.
Shearer at pick 12 on
tough.
Phantom Night.
Maybe he's the next. I don't know. I have to think about that one. Keep going. It's got to be someone famous.
Yep.
Next Ben Graham. No, that's not right.
Look, I think
Anyway,
he could
yeah.
be the real surprise of the lot because I think his type of playing style is really made for AFL footy. And it's just a matter of the club picking up that talent and trying to get the best out of him. I think he's certainly capable of playing a lot of AFL footy.
I think he's a guy that's, again, the reason why he's good for rookie list. Okay, yeah, he's mature and he might come in, but the most interesting thing about him is how boom or bust he is. Because in theory, he could come in and everyone goes, wow, where did this guy come from? Or he could just sort of elevate and then you go, oh yeah, and then you forget about him in 5 years' time. So it's interesting. Like that's an okay rookie pick to have someone with that potential upside that's right up there. That's what you want.
I would rather that than somebody who you know is going to run around the SNFL, get 25 possessions a game.
Yep.
But never be an AFL footballer.
Exactly, because we're not in this, like, that's the best part about it. Like, we're not in this to make the Magpies a successful side. Like, we have to not be in that. We have to be always drafting for the AFL side. And what's nice about this is that we've got a couple of guys that, yeah, they might actually make the SNFL team extremely good this year, but they're going to make the power. Like, we've drafted them very clearly with the intention of making the power good, and that's always the most important thing. So,
Look, I'd pick this sort of guy over Jonty Scharenberg any day of the week. Which leads us to our last pick, which is the Category B rookie Emmanuel Irra from South Adelaide. He's been around for a while now, 3 or 4 years. He's a sub-180 centimetre midfielder, can play up forward. He's from Uganda. Played 12 games in South's senior side this year, played 16 last year. He's someone that's shown some real glimpses of talent over the years, but just hasn't been able to show it consistently enough. He's still playing a lot of reserves footy. Do you think he's someone that AFL training will be able to get the best out of him? And maybe he can show some of that talent that saw him named in the AIS Academy a few years back?
I think he's a player that will serve as a guideline for future academy players for Port Adelaide to come through and succeed, because you need a first, and he's probably as good a first as any. Mish.
He's got AFL traits which I like, and you get the free swing at him, and it's good. Like, he's been in the system 4 or 5 years now. He hasn't chucked it in. He hasn't taken the easy way back to club footy or anything like that. He's kept the dream, and these guys that stick around, generally we found that once they get in the AFL system, because they've applied themselves, they just grow another leg. So
that would be uncomfortable.
Yeah, so, yeah, I'm not expecting anything, but here's a chance.
Yep.
Yeah. Hopefully he is the first academy player, and then future ones are super exciting.